recording. Where's Juan? I think Juan was here, wasn't he? Never mind. Okay, who wants to pick it up first today?
I can. I want to present my screen. 1 second. Can you see it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So what we did on ZAP was a new component, which is a group component. I think I told you about it last time. Okay, Boaz did it, I think. Let me do a small demonstration, but I won't show the app, but it's pretty straightforward. So, let me do it on my template layout. So you can have this kind of component. It can be, you can have other components as well in this screen. It doesn't have to be the only one. And inside this component, you can have other components. Not all of them. You can have grid, tab bar, banners, carousels, horizontal lists, group info, I will tell you later about it, lists, and HTML tickers. So the special thing about this component is that it gets one data source. Oh, it looks like an issue with the UI. Let me pick another screen. I don't know why it doesn't show the data section. 1 second. Let me create a new one. Okay, it looks like an issue on the server. I will talk with you about it. But you will have a data section here, like you have on the other components. Like, oh, I don't see it in other components also. I don't know why. Never mind. And you also have the repeat pattern. So you can have no repeat all the components, or repeat the last X components. For example, the last 2, okay? So when you load the data source, let's say you have 9 items. Let me, 1 second. I want to give the, oh, what happens here? I want to give an easy example, and then I will go deeper into it. Okay, so in this group, you have grid and list. On each component, you have to define the item limit, let's say 4. Let's do it here also. Okay. So let's say you have 9 items on the group data source. So on the grid, you will have 4 items. Okay. On the list, you will have 4 items. And the extra item will go into the repeat pattern. Okay. That's like the easy explanation. The easy example. You can also have banners, which doesn't take the items from the data source. It takes the data from here, okay? And you also have a new kind of component, which is group info. Group info is like a header, okay? It gives you the data of the feed of the group, okay? Exactly like headers, but it takes the styles from the carousel or the list currently. In the future, you can have whatever cell style you want. You can have cell styles for specifically for the group info, or from other components as well. Okay, it depends on the family. It can also be connected, so when you click it, you will be able to open a new screen. What else is important? I think. Yeah, we can also have a tab bar. So this is like a special case because the tab bar needs the item that is corresponding to the tab bar will have to be a feed, which will be loaded, okay? So this is like a small complication. Same goes for HTML ticker. The item which will go to the HTML ticker should be like atom entry of link or link category, or the regular stuff we are doing for HTML tickers. Yeah, and that's it. If you have any questions.
Gil,
Yeah.
the group is here. Can you display the screen again?
Yes.
Okay, the group like above all the components in the left side. So this is the screen name or this is the component? Yeah, this one.
Okay, let's go from the beginning. So this is the screen name.
Okay.
The group component, which you see here.
Ah, okay.
And when you click it, you go to another, another,
yeah.
which is the inner components.
And how the banner, how the banner is part of the group?
Yes, but it's not taking a data source.
So what? You configure it in the Zapier, like in the CMS. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, like you would do if you just put it in the screen itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed the second level. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Somebody else has a question? Okay, so it's already merged to the new release candidate and the latest dev SDK. Yeah, that's it. It will be published soon, announced soon, and Gavri will provide the documentation. I think in the next few days.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
I really don't have much to update. I just want to say that when I was thinking about updating all the Play service libraries, like I said in last Tech Talk, with a conversation with Ron, we decided that maybe it's better to see if we could override the version from your plugin. So have your plugin dictate what the library should be. And in the future, Ron wants to have the SAP team extract it all into a plugin. So all those libraries would be part of a default plugin, which you could use or not use depending on your needs, or you can create your own with a lower or higher version. But for now, I just want to say that I've been working with my plugin, the plugin choosing to use a higher version. In my case in particular, I need to use the ads, the Play Service ads library. I needed to use a higher version, and it's working fine. So if anybody needs to do that, it works. You probably have to use API instead of implementation, but it works. It could potentially break something though. So obviously use it with caution. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say really.
Just one comment about it. The next cycle on my side, I will be on the on-call team, but one of the tickets that I have is making all of our dependencies default plugins. So you will be able to choose explicitly if you want to use Google Play Services 15 or 12 or whatever. So this is a solution for that.
Okay, actually, that's actually related to something that we need on our side, because we received a note about a update for the player plugin from ProSieben, and they've updated Play Services to version 15, the Google support libraries to 27.1.1. Exoplayer also to 2.8.1, which has to be a plugin at some point. And also Google IMA. So we have quite a lot of dependency updates. And I'm wondering kind of if we should wait for Gil to finish his task before we go on to that, or we update the SDK and then afterwards the update by Gil will take place.
I think it shouldn't be related to it shouldn't block.
So we go about it as just as an update to the Play services on the SDK? Play services and Exoplayer and everything, and do proper testing, of course, with relevant apps.
And in parallel, I will create plugins from this, from it, and from the other versions.
Okay, so just take into consideration, I guess, both Javier and myself, the EU team, and we'll have to do some updates to the dependencies soon.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you.
I have a question to Javier. I saw in the Airtable that you're working on Android TV YouTube plugin.
No, people keep asking me that. I don't. We're not working on the YouTube player.
Because this is what I see in the Airtable. So
yeah,
maybe you need to remove it or something like that, because
it's weird that it's there. I don't know who put that there, but we have no task related to YouTube at all. So I have no idea where this came from.
Okay. Yeah.
They probably wanted you to do it, so they decided to put it there.
Maybe it was
from Airtable. But okay.
I'm working on an Android TV player. Okay, but it has nothing to do with YouTube. Maybe they're like, oh, maybe he could do YouTube playback also. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay. We want you to make it, so
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Sorry. Okay.
That's actually, that can be a great use for Airtable. We can assign tasks for teams.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. My mistake.
All right. Kariti, anything else?
I don't have any updates.
Okay, cool.
Just template bug fixes and shit like that. We are going, you know what? Yeah, I have. We are going to move the UI builder, 3 of our template apps. I hope it will be ready in the next 2 weeks. That's all.
Cool. Nice. Okay, Tarek, Juan, Hani.
I just want to say that I don't have much to update since I was on vacation, so I did not do anything. So no updates from me.
Cool.
How was the vacation? Give us an update.
It was good.
Yes, Hani, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. Do we have an updated list of the repositories that not migrate to the Circle 2 version? And where can I find it?
I don't think we have one. What I did see was an email that Dror forwarded to me and to others that lists a few highlights for projects that have not been migrated. I've listed them for my team to tackle during the next cycle as a technical task, but I'm not sure that it's all of them. But I assume that once our developers start looking into it, they will look into more than what I've just mentioned. So the answer is no, I don't have the list. I have a few that were mentioned in an email that Dror received and forwarded.
Okay. Is it something that I'm owned?
Something that what?
I'm owned. A plugin that I'm owned.
I think each team is going to update their own plugins.
Yeah.
But it's
a mess. I don't remember all the plugins that I have. Okay.
Question, like, I know that we're all pushing to get this done, but I'm wondering, like, in the case, for example, we have the same problem, like Hani, who, like, I really don't, our team does not have time to check every single plugin because some are super unused, right? What is the problem if the deadline passes, then I decide, oh, I need to update this plugin. I realize, oh, it's Circle CI 1. I could just update it at that point, right? There shouldn't be a problem updating it after the...
Yeah.
Like, if I go and I push something to the repo and CI just doesn't run at all, I'll be like, oh, I never updated this. I'll update it then. I think that that shouldn't be a problem either, just to do it after.
Just to ignore it, okay.
Yeah, but the only problem that might happen is that if you need something to be released urgently and then you realize that you didn't update, it could add some time when you're not prepared for it. So waiting for the last minute can be problematic for the time that you tackle it, but I don't see any other problem. It's not like they're going to turn us off completely because we didn't migrate.
Right, because most of the plugins that are active in our teams, I'm assuming, are 2.0 already because they're more recent or whatever. And the old ones, like we have some really old auth providers and things like that, you know, I'm sure if we have to update, I think that we will.
Actually, in the list that I saw, that I received, there were quite a few React Native sports components that we got. But also the Applicaster Android SDK repository. That's a big problem.
This is not mandatory. It's okay.
Yeah, we can do without it.
It was updated, though.
That came from the email. I don't know if it was updated or not.
No, it was updated by Alex.
Yeah, I think Alex updated all the.
Okay, so probably it's just a matter of updating the plugins for each team. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for a technical task to be put into cycle 6 in my team, and it will be probably split.
Our team has updated all the plugins.
And Android, we are already did.
Cool.
I think if you have any questions, Alex can provide answers because he did a lot of migrations.
All right. We'll use him as a reference.
And another thing is the Cling plugin. This is what I was working on. Should be ready soon.
Regarding to the Cling plugin, I saw that we have, or it need to use, like Cling plugin, it's used by a login player plugin that we are using, and it's not, and the login player plugin has it needs to be updated. So I created a pull request. I send it to you, Hani, and maybe I should send it to Javier as well, because the login player plugin not sending the playable item to the login plugin. So we need to update it.
Okay. Basically, we were thinking to add this ability to the SDK. Because it shouldn't be in the plugin.
It should be also in the plugin. It's a playable login plugin. It's a player login plugin. So it must pass the playable.
This logic should be on the SDK.
Yeah. Look, the reason I made the plugin, and the plugin is just a wrapper around, it's using the Applicaster player that we have in the SDK. I wanted to do this logic, but then we came to the point where, what about people that have implemented login plugins? Because the logic is just like, hey, do you have a login plugin? Okay, show it now. So if somebody implemented the login plugin for a different purpose, like for showing it on app startup or showing it with some other flow, and they do not want to show it on playback, it would break, a lot of people's apps or plugins. So what needs to happen, I think, before we put this into the Applicaster player is have maybe an extra value in the login plugins configuration to say, when do you want to show this? Do you want to show this on the player, yes or no? A simple Boolean, a simple flag, I don't know. That way we could dictate.
No, but Javier, when we're entering like the entry point of the login player plugin, okay, it's when you're pressing on a player and a playable item. And when you are pressing on a playable item, so how you can know, how you can determine if the item is locked or not in the login plugin if you are not passing the playable item to the login plugin.
Yeah, I get what you want to do, and that's fine. I'm saying aside from that, whether or not you just want the flow, because look, a login plugin, it doesn't have to do with the player at all. You know, the login plugin is its own thing. It could be launched from anywhere. We have an app, for example, that we only launched the login plugin at app startup.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's locking the app. And then we don't want to run this login plugin in the player every time. It's just redundant because once you're logged in, you have access to the app. If not, you're kicked out of the app, right? So if we were to force this on the player, on the standard Applicaster SDK player, we would need some way to control that, or maybe make it, you know, let everyone know, hey, now this is going to change. If you have a login plugin, expect the login plugin to, you know, run every single time your user clicks a playable item. I don't know. And just we have to think about it a little bit.
I think we have another problem by doing it, which is the storefront, like the storefront product. For example, from sometimes you wanna check for the login plugin, and sometimes you wanna, for example, currently every time that the item
if the item is locked, like we open the storefront and not a login plugin. This is the current behavior. But yeah, this solution should come from the product and not from us. So
that's correct.
We just need to update, like, you know, if you want to add it to the SDK, we should create a pitch and requirement, and then we can implement it. But it should come from the product and not from us. So I think this is the reason that we made the login player plugin, because we don't want to wait to the product decision.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So I guess it will take time until we will enter it to the SDK.
Okay.
I'm going to assign it to somebody in the Airtable. Okay. That's that random.
Yeah, we can do it like maybe EU team.
No, but for real, it needs to be pitched. I guess if we want the SAP team to do, I guess we could pitch it to them. If not, I don't know. I don't know if the player is part of the SAP team domain. I don't think it is. But anyway, for now we have the plugin. So Elad, whatever you need from the plugin, I think I understand what you're saying. It should pass the item so you could check whether the item's stocked or not. That's fine. If you want to make the PR, send it to us.
Yeah, cool. Okay. I also created it. I will send it to you and Khan. Okay.
Javier, the thing is that the question is if in your plugin, if in your login plugin you implemented the login with the playable method and not only the login without the playable one. Because I took the plugin from you, so I guess
this is right. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, let's have a look. I mean, for now it won't break anything. If we need to update, we'll update. But I think we're using this in a couple of places. But yeah, just send me a PR so I could take a look, and then I'll see what we're using, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take it after the call.
All right. I think we're left only with Juan.
Yeah. Morning. Yeah, I'm working on an authorization provider. And for this plugin, I need some parameters from the plugin manifest. And I see that when starting the authorization, we have one parameter in the method that is called params. It's a hash map. So I think this is the method that should pass the parameters from the plugin manifest, but it's passing null hard-coded. Let me show my screen so I can explain better. Okay, this one. Okay, you see my screen? You see my screen? Or?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this method, start authorization, this is my provided handle class in the plugin. So in this method, start authorization, the parameter is params, is a hash map of strings. I think this is the one that I should use to pass the parameters from the plugin manifest. But when I see the method, the implementation, I mean the use, you can see here on authentication item clicked is passing null hard-coded. And for the other one, authenticator, is passing null hard-coded too. So maybe this is made for a specific reason. Maybe we can, to see if we can change this, or we have to look to other way to pass parameters.
Which param do you need here?
I need a requester ID from the Adobe plugin.
Basically, what's happening is that he's not getting the plugin configurations from the plugin manifest. So it seems like we checked other auth providers, including ones that we have made in the past, and we've never had to configure it, right? Because they were always whitelisted to a client. So I guess everything was hard-coded. But now we want to configure this because this is Adobe, so we're going to use it for multiple clients. And it looks like auth provider plugins never pass their plugin configuration parameters. Maybe it was never needed, so it was never implemented. I don't know, but we had to take a closer look, but I don't even see where these plugins get the param. I don't think it's even being passed, Juan, because even though here it's passing null, like where are your params to begin with? Do you see them anywhere, like in any of these authenticator classes?
No, but I can search. But no.
I think it might need to be developed, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's because the provider is configured in the CMS, the authentication provider. So maybe it was on the vault items or something like that. But
but setting something to null, it doesn't have any, nothing. So it's either that it can be changed without affecting nobody, it should not break anything. Like, if I think about logically, it should not break anything. But setting null, it's a default, default value for any object, null.
Yes.
So, I think you can go ahead. I think, not sure, but or either you can remove it or just pass the plugin configuration map. So whatever you need.
If we send always null, so I guess that no one is using it. So
Yeah. No one. It was half implemented. It's not like it did not continue with the development. It seems like it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give it a shot then to see if I can pass the parameters from the plugin configuration. I will keep you posted.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Anything else other than that?
I have a small comment, which is like a coding habit that we should like all have, which is like a setting when you create any method or anything. We should always like use the annotations to show if the param or the return value is always if it's a nullable or non-null. It's very important because sometimes when you implement an interface or something, specifically in Kotlin, if the param was not annotated, Kotlin will give you the nullable object type, which is a problem. And for me, because I don't know, for example, a specific interface, I cannot assume that it can be nullable or it cannot be nullable. So I think it's a good practice that we should like always annotate our params and return values with the non-null or nullable, because it will help us a lot to stop wondering if this can be null or cannot be null, and so on and so on. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Is that it, guys? We covered everything? I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. I'll upload the recording as usual.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. See you.
Right.